First of all, thank you very much for having me here at the Inspire series. It's worked dramatically. I'm already inspired to be addressing this really august intellectual gathering of people from Harvard, a place that my mother thought I will never reach. But you know what? A lot of people have spoken before me and eloquently and described their dreams for India and given figures and facts that either are skeptical and, like Mr. Wilbur says, aspirational. But I'm just an actor. And I'm going to just give you my dream shamelessly, because that's the thing that I can do best. And by that I mean, when we talk of dreams, we have one of our greatest scientists and philanthropists, Dr. Abdul Kalam. And he said something which is very interesting. He said, dreams are not what you have when you sleep. The true dreams are the ones that don't let you sleep. He said that when you have that dream once, it's a dream. When you have it twice, it becomes a desire. And when you see it for the third time consecutively, it becomes a passion, an aim, and a goal. And that is the passion with which I want to see this fantasy that I have for India 2030. And Abraham Lincoln also was a dreamer. And, but he said one thing that makes most sense in trying to achieve this goal that I have dreamt for my nation. He said, if I have 6 hours to cut down a tree, then I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. There's a great philosophy in that. In this era of instant gratification, we just keep thinking we can achieve all these goals by just tweaking this, tweaking that. It's not true. I really believe that that a missionary zeal is required to make that quantum change that can make 2030 what I'm dreaming about right now. And just let's look at India as a country. What a unique nation. Seriously. Thousands of years old of culture and tradition, many invasions, being ruled for many years, and we still somehow managed to maintain our identity. We still somehow have managed to maintain our Indianness, our beliefs, our faith. And, there has been, we have our drawbacks. There is corruption, there is violence, there is differences between the different religions and sects and castes and everything. But I can't help but think, looking at India, at the geography, that we're not doing really that bad. Look at all the other nations around in the world. Look at our neighbors. Compared to that, there is somebody in India who's doing something right for us to be called a growing economy and being projected as the third largest economy in 2026 and the most educated and young nation in the world. And it's still functional democracy. So let's first accept the fact that there is some people in India with the right ideas and the ability to lead the nation to where we are today. Under that assumption, we are also very capable of finding very unique solutions to the problems that generally the world faces. One of them, of course, is the fact that we found freedom through non-violence and non-cooperation. Who would have thought that was possible? We have some other No, seriously. I mean, it was as radical a thought then as it is today. And one man in a loincloth with belief and faith and complete conviction was able to do that for us. Mahatma Gandhi. And it's an amazing country of people like Mahavir, Gautam Buddha, and Mahatma Gandhi, and then Bhagat Singh, who also had a dream. He dreamt then, 85 years ago, that I dream of an India where no infant cries for the want of milk. No youngster is deprived of relevant education, and no youth goes door to door finding a job. Sadly, it's still a dream today. And I dream of a 2030 when this dream becomes irrelevant. I dream of a 2030 when everybody is so equally satisfied with what they're doing that they're able to actually devote more time back to art and culture, which is another great important aspect of our country. Now, for that to happen, we need to be a healthy nation. And when I say healthy, I remember preparing for a film of mine, which released recently, where I had to look like a boxer. And I had these, biceps and triceps that had to be there. So I decided just to work on the parts that is seen outside my clothes. So I was just working out on my biceps and my triceps and my shoulders. But you know what? I suddenly realized the strength that I had in my arms and biceps was not actually enough for me to look even fit, because it is disproportionate growth. It is the kind of growth that will not make you fit or strong, but actually make you look inadequate. And that is what is happening to India today. Everybody says we are the largest economy, we're going to be the most populated country in the years to come. And, with economic superpower and supremacy in rocket and space technology, which I'm privy to, and then the IT giants and smarter cities. But ladies and gentlemen, I really believe that more than smarter cities, we require smart villages. And this is going to be primarily what I talk about today. A nation is only as strong as its weakest link, and rural India is our weakest link. See, it's important that that growth and progress goes hand in hand with the villages also getting onto the same train towards economic freedom, superpowerdom, all the terms that have been coined for a successful country. But that is not happening. The reason being, we're beginning to ignore them. We're beginning to actually believe that this is a very interesting line that I've found, where they say that everybody believes that they know what is required for getting the underprivileged and the poor up to speed with the rest of the country. Okay? And we always start assuming that this is what they want. This is how we can help the poor and the villages, and this is what they need. And we can't be more wrong. In my vast experiences of shooting in really rural Indias, and villages and small kugramams, like they call it in Tamil, really small places, I realized, shockingly, that the biggest financial burden for a person of this particular village, would you all be able to guess what his biggest financial burden is? The answer is the untimely death of a relative, of a senior in their family. That is the one occasion he can't prepare for. That is one occasion where the ceremony demands that he spend a certain amount of money, feed a certain amount of people, use the funeral the expenditures, and that's where he takes the loan, and that's where he gets indebted, and that's where, to escape that particular embarrassment and humility of not having the ability to perform the function every year as is expected of the Indian tradition, that he decides to leave the village because he's made to feel inadequate. Lord Mikil had in 1735 had spoken in the British Parliament and said the only way to rule India is to make the men there feel inadequate. He said, and truly so, that unless he feels that what he has is lesser than what others have, you will not be able to rule him. And within a very short period, they proved themselves right. The rural India today is feeling inadequate. They're feeling like they're not even part of our country. And what happens with that is, they start then looking at opportunities in villages and saying better education, better health, better lifestyle, and no humility for not having performed the funeral properly. They decide to give up who they are and move to the cities. And who they are is what is more important for us to understand. Who they are actually the timekeepers and the bookkeepers of our deep-rooted traditional culture and stories. You should see how tradition and culture flourishes in a happy village in India. We don't have psychiatrists as a big fashion thing in India, and they still manage to maintain a great level of sanity. There's a great phrase from the poem If by Rudyard Kipling, where it says, dream but not make dreams your master, think but not make thoughts your aim. Meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. It's very easy to say it, but how do you treat those two imposters just the same? The answer lies in the tradition and the culture and the books and the epics that are so prominent and predominant in our country. The Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the interpretation of that in the subcontinent, the Bible, the Guru Granth Sahib, the granny stories. And you know how to handle the diversities and the setbacks, and you're able to sit back, reassemble yourself, come back and fight with the same glory again. And when you don't give a villager that, you're depriving him, we're depriving ourselves of what I think is one of the most important survival tools in today's world, which is the culture and tradition.